love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just keep it up. Don't be scared. I'm so gone, no I'm never turning back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so on, you're gonna be hurting bad. Cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad. I stay strong, you will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math. When I hate, I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just keep it up. Don't be scared.
Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Hello Zakanayo. Okay, I'm assuming. Boom to you, right back at you, Mr. Zakenayo. Okay, now I think I might have successfully read that one right at the end. Zakenayo. Samurai. John, hello. Leo, hello. Looks like that's all we have today. 3 people. Cool. Let's do this. It's going to be a private call. You guys are going to enjoy a private call today. Thank you for those who stopped by, and please do smash the like. It is absolutely free, and it does help a lot. It does go a long way. Anyway, let's get into this. Now the focus of the lives will be mainly looking at the SPX, subsequently deriving what we expect the market overall in the grand scheme of things to do, and I might throw a little bit, some stocks and stock analysis that I may find interesting or whatever, sort of, so to speak. Why? Because the stock analysis now migrated exclusively into the Discord, into the community. By the way, those who noticed, I still have one spot in the one-on-one academy where I tutor you one-on-one. We have meetings and I teach you how to do proper technical analysis, how to use the tools, why, where, when, everything, all the details. Yeah, I think that's it. That's with all the shticks and stuff. Let's get into things. Currently, the 1 minute again is kind of, well, not interesting. We're kind of going to skip over this very, very quickly. Those who still wonder, yes, we have closed the gap from yesterday completely. We have it all done. The gap from the 6th, pardon me, to be precise, between the 5th and the 6th to be more precise. right? You can see right there we've closed the gap completely, right? To be more precise, those who really wonder, here it is. You can see that the gap was closed. Yes, some of you may say, oh, there's a half of a cent right there. No, well, you may as well consider this gap to be closed. This is indifferent to the market in the grand scheme of things. I don't see ourselves sort of correcting back into that tiny little 2 cents to correct that. That's for all we care, that gap is closed. On the 5 minutes, we are right above oversold territory, now switching back over what appears to be at least temporarily for the following, give or take, well, what is that? If we're finishing the 4 minutes, probably at least a couple of sticks right here, so we're probably going to stay within that vicinity of 5,600, not moving all too far. Let's see, 30 minutes. 30 minutes is a little bit more indicative of where we're actually going for today's session. This appears to be pretty obvious. I mean, we have the D dominant. We're looking downwards. Hello, John. Hello, Danny. We are appearing to be quite obviously bearish. Right now, the current bottom of the channel resides roughly around 55.88. We are so close to 55 that I would argue that we're probably going to get a retest of that level. Looking at how the structure is right now, it appears to be that we are far more bearish than bullish, but let's see the context. If, again, right now, what are we seeing on the 45 minutes? On the 45 minutes, we're objectively bullish, moving upwards towards the 50 range. Although we may have sort of a head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders pattern or behavior with the indicator here, giving us at least a retest towards the 40 on the 45 minutes, giving us a little bit more of a bullish push, or so it appears to be on the 45 minutes. On the 45 minutes, what does that mean to us? Since we're located at the bottom of the channel, we are now forced to see where our larger channel resides. Oh, below and behold, we have a little bit more to go to our sort of higher end of the channel, which resides roughly around 57.24. Can we do that? Honestly, I again don't think so, but well, I didn't think so about the actual level at which we're at right now. So being objective about things, we are still kind of moving in limbo, and so it's not going to be all that surprising if the market will continue hovering within the range of the very same levels, moving into that wedge right here before breaking completely. Although I gotta say that this behavior is a little bit weirder than I've expected. I've expected by now to see the price action actually break. Now, why is that? As you can see, we are on the hourly already in oversold territory, right? So I was expecting to see a little bit more of that bearish behavior, which in reality we're getting a corrective movement to the downside. Sure, as you can see, the convergence of the two channels, we're basically moving more inwards, but we're not really having any of that bullish momentum that we were expecting to see throughout this week. Now, does that mean that that's it? So this week is all the sort of gone and used up and burnt away, so to speak? Right now, that's not the case. In fact, if you look at your 4-hourly, you'll realize that we are quickly hurtling towards the oversold territory. We currently have no gaps left above us that we should be too worried about that we will end up retesting. We only have a couple that are so far away that literally for the price action to do that, what we need to see in the market is pretty much the opposite of the sort of narrative we're right now are given. The reality of the situation appears to be that it's pretty simple. We are now turning around, or at least starting to get rejected by the higher sort of level or resistance line, if you will, on the diagonal plane of things, that appears to be residing at around 5,700, high 5,600, but still right now we're already seeing how the market is turning around, and so we're becoming a lot more bearish far quicker. W looks bullish. Okay, Bob, if it looks bullish, then it looks bullish to you, Now at the daily, things become a little bit more interesting. On the daily, we're actually starting to see that divergence that I've been sort of prompting and warning about and signaling that things will come, for the things that up to come, when we were completely stuck all the way to the ceiling, and now we're seeing that convergence moving in that bearish momentum, which is again still very light, since we are in bullish dominant territory. We're in overbought territory, so until we break that 80, it's going to be somewhat tame. By the time we break it, that's going to be that movement towards 5500, and potentially the movement towards 5436, which will kind of weirdly or not weirdly converges with our median of our current fast moving channel, and so it's not going to be all that surprising if we either complete or not complete this, and via the breakage that we're seeing here, start moving in towards the median, and subsequently then leading to all these lows that we were prompting and warning about. I know it's a little bit boring to wait sometimes, but still we're in the right direction. It just takes a little longer than expected, that's all. Now, weekly is roughly as it was, didn't change yet. We still have to see the end of this week, I believe, and to see some of that bullish momentum to be finished completely, utterly and completely, because we're printing the smaller time frames at which we can sort of flip over a couple of more times. But overall, what we're seeing is that the momentum is about to flip over, and we're about to have a lot more bearish momentum. And the sort of the subsequent thing that we're having right now is just the retest, so the entanglement. If you're more attentive, you noticed we're basically getting entangled with the bottom of the channel, being retested before we confirm that we get rejected by it and continue downwards. This is very normal behavior. So we came out of this channel that we were in, and now we moved on to a separate channel, which we will identify shortly. Or first of all, right now, moving into this downwards direction looking channel, which over time will print. We kind of spoke, and I actually showed how the channels spill over time. Coincidence, wink wink, if you will. Everything sort of matches in terms of where the bottom of the channel is. Again, that 4800, roughly 49, 48 will get retested, and once completed, we will see a continuation of the downwards price action. Why are we so confident about it? Simply because the larger channels are telling us so, and prompting that we will be moving downwards. And once we penetrate into the oversold territory, since we already moved into the current month, right? We have 23 days to close this month. I believe that within this month, within the following sessions, we will actually start to see that transition into the oversold conditions based upon the smaller time frame that predate the monthly. As you can imagine, the 3-month, the quarterly, basically the half year did not change much. We're still kind of up in the air, and in that transition of backwards, sort of reverting back into the downwards spiral of this overall structure, right? That's it. That's kind of what we got for today. To keep it simple, it does not appear that the momentum is flipping that very second that we're looking right now, but something very interesting happened today that I do want to prompt these who stayed for all this long. We do have quite a gap to close, right? Let me show you real quick. That's gonna be right there, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, we have quite a leftover of a gap right there below us, and so in my mind, the sort of the nearest destination that we'll have will be that 55 area. Where do we have it from? Let me see. Where was that really made out of? Where was that? Here it is. We still have that gap below us, that little leftover, that 55.82 to 55.86, so roughly about $4. Those not just a couple of cents, in fact more so. We have a little bit of noise right here in between. If you notice, we have a tiny little gap right here, and so in my mind, based upon what I'm seeing, we're probably going to see a little bit of a retest of these levels and then end up completing these gaps. At least I think that is what the market is saying for the following session. We're going to sort of dwell, retest, and what we're seeing on the smaller time frame, end up with that, and start moving, closing these gaps. And the retest will be slightly lower. That's it. That is all I wanted to show you, boys and girls. I guess you can have some time for questions, but the main shtick here now is that all the activities that break down the actual in-depth analysis moved into the community, and so if you want to take part, you're more than welcome to join the Patreon, subsequently giving you entrance to the Discord where all the activities are done, and you'll be able to join us and be in the know and understand how is it that we're able to predict all these things so easily in advance. That's it. That is it, boys and girls. Any questions before I go real quick? I think we have no questions. Questions going once, questions going twice. There's not much to look at. I mean, if you go over the lives of the previous days, you'll find that nothing really changed. We've been moving sideways pretty much, and some people will get will highlight and too excited about how we peaked out and then went back to the 110, for example, in Palantir's case. Not really. We've kind of been testing these very same levels all along, and so we really are kind of moving sideways more than anything. So arguably we have not achieved anything within these sessions. The earnings were not too yielding for Palantir. In fact, what it seems to be that we're moving more so sideways in order to have space to move downwards, right? That's kind of what the market is prompting me to see here. Let's see. My pleasure, Leon. My pleasure. Thank you for showing up. I hope I was able to contribute for your plans for today somehow. Honestly, there's not much going on. There's not a lot of change since the last time we've sort of gone over these things. The market pretty much is all the same. We're mostly moving sideways. I don't really think we're going to move upwards to close this little remnants of a 4.5 cents gap. This one has been closed, so we're free to go. From here on out, get ready. The market is pretty much ready to break. All it needs is an excuse at this stage. Should some of us know, that means we might be waiting for an event to trigger the avalanche. Or whether we like it or not, sometimes when the event just takes too long, the market triggers itself simply because how the technical analysis is sort of spilling over and cannot no longer wait. FOMC could be, but then again, we know exactly what's going to happen today in the FOMC meeting, right? In fact, we know what their plan is. We know they're going to continue with the pause and do nothing. And we know the rate cuts are not coming anytime soon. So in reality, we kind of know the outcome. And so I don't think that what the market is about to do is going to legitimately, I mean, I don't see that as an excuse. On the other hand, I can admittedly say that, yes, the market may see this as an excuse because, well, it's like, yes, we are willing to take that condition. We're willing to take the pause, but we're willing to take it for, X amount of months. And if after a while you guys are not making any changes, then yes, the market may prompt the market to start moving in one or another direction. In this instance, I would say probably uncertain, and so leading to a downwards pressure that we're already seeing being prepared in the barrel. So there's not much of a surprise here. We know the actual trend is downwards. It's just we've been sort of so stuck in these levels retesting. Again, the problem when we do these sort of processes, in our human mind, that feels very unpleasant because what we do is we're basically end up seeing the very same numbers again and again and again and again, not realizing, not realizing how much time was spent on retesting the very same levels. And if we're going to be just straightforward about these things, we understand it is just part of the head and shoulders pattern, which probably going to yield we are on the cusp of one of the most painful movements the market had since the real estate crash in 2008, okay? You need to understand that, in fact, I would argue what we had in 2008 with the prime mortgage crisis, it was nothing, because right now, objectively, we're having similar conditions with different banking products and far more other issues that are at play. I'm not even talking how the world is on the cusp of a global war, no matter left and right, wherever you look. Everything, it literally feels like everything is going to fall apart like any second now. And I know Trump is saying that the Houthis gave up and all this crap and blah blah blah. Well, the Houthis maybe have agreed not to shoot at ships, at least for now, because that's how they are. That's how these people are. It's like now that they are on the ground, they will scream at you, "Please don't kill me, please don't kill me," sort of thing, right? And first of all, it means nothing about the Israeli-Houthi conflict, objectively. And I would probably also I wouldn't just trust them. Look, these people have proven themselves to be not trustworthy again and again and again. So I wouldn't trust a single thing they're saying. In fact, they're saying it right now because, again, as I said, they're on the ground, on their back, so to speak. So let them just pick themselves up, give them a second, and they'll go back to their old ways. These people don't know any better. That is the reality. And so if we're objectively looking at conditions right now in the market, people are so misled. I was warning about this very thing, warning again and again and again how people didn't listen to me and will fall into the very same pitfall again, thinking the market is about to rally. This is going to convince them that everything is fine. People will reject the idea of a market crash, not realizing that what is happening here is the market is cooking them just one last time before it basically they get rug pulled, or however you want to call it, or the market crashes, simply because the institutions and the actual analysts who work in the industry identify and know this thing was coming and know that it was coming. I can say at this stage years in advance. Well, institutions obviously, right? And even the newcomer analysts, the people who are new to the industry, were already probably aware of it based upon the sort of the expectation of their peers and the people they work with, and their understanding of how the cycles work and why and what are the forces behind these things. And so if you ask me, again, it is laughable to I'm being very tame and sort of gentle about things because there is not much to report. But if you've listened to any of my lives in the last, I would say, several months or even half a year, maybe even a year, you're completely aware of what is up to come based upon my prediction. And I do find it a little bit laughable that people right now kind of shrug it off and think, oh, that's it, it's all canceled. I understand how my conviction can be so strong based upon my knowledge and experience that I've had for so many years in the industry with my career, but people don't have that, and so they have nothing to rely on. I can clearly see that, and so that's why I'm trying to be a little bit softer and sort of not be pushy with my thesis, if you will. Bottom line is, nothing has changed. The only thing sort of that you can see that the process got a little bit prolonged, and what people don't realize that on the grand scheme of things and the bigger scale of things, we haven't even started properly yet. And so what we're still in is in correction territory. When we move so quickly, when the market elevates so quickly, just rushes up, rallies so quickly, whatever term you want to use, we will always have a corrective movement on that rally. Now, beyond that corrective movement, what people forget, and I'm not going to call it bear market because it's incorrect. The market is naturally bullish. We will be in a temporary segment of the cycle that is bearish in its nature, and so it's going to be bearish. It's not that the market gone bearish, not at all. It will never go bearish unless we will go to an actual collapse of society. This is the reality of things. Unless the monetary system will be sabotaged somehow. I really don't see that coming. What I do see is how we're transitioning from the current cycle into the next cycle, and that process is very tedious, very long, and can lead to a very low that people cannot expect right now. If you ask me, based upon where we're sitting right now, we still have at least a 30+% movement downwards ahead of us, no matter how we flip it. Now, that's it. I don't think I have anything else to add other than I will recommend joining the community so you'll be in the know and you'll know how exactly and what sort of tools we were able to use to identify and predict these movements that most people right now are unable to see. Warning, heads up, as I said, I have just one spot in the academy, and I know when the market will start crashing, people start flocking to the academy. And another very important announcement, towards the end of the year, I'm not sure when, but there will be an increase in price for the academy, for for the one-on-one academy, to be clear. There will be a couple of changes, so I highly recommend don't miss out. And again, especially because of what is up to come, you want to be aware and prepared in advance, and not sort of try and catch up with the market in the last second when it already does the big move, and then you're like, oh, what do I do now? You don't want to do that. You want to be prepared in advance. And that's it. That is it, boys and girls. I think I am all done for today, at least for this portion of what we're going to do. We're probably going to do a little bit of a hangout in the community, so definitely join us on the Discord, join the Patreon, so you will be in the know. Bye for